link, missing link. You are my honey, my love, my baby, my everything. Tukakotela chapa, missing link. You are my missing link. Oh, you are my honey, my baby, my love, my everything. Darling, my everything. Darling, my missing link. Darling, my missing link. My missing. Hello, and welcome to Discover Your Missing Link. I'm your friend and brother, Counselor Godwin Nyirongo. I'm so excited to be here. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. God has made to be alive today so that we can be able to add value to Mother Earth, so that we can be able to make the world. You are in a position that you are right now because God has chosen it fit for you to be in that position so that you can be able to make the life of someone else better. This is Discover Your Missing Link, where we discuss nuggets and links that can build a relationship to a better one. So if you are there, stay glued, tell your neighbor, tell your friend that Discover Your Missing Link is on, where relationships are a priority, because we believe that a healthy family unit, it's a better nation, it's a healthy nation. So stay good. I have a powerful man of God, a powerful guest this afternoon, and we are so much expectant because we know that the Lord has prepared something for us this afternoon. Man of God, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Me, I'm blessed. I'm so much glued and so happy to have you.
I'm humbled to be here, and really, it's amazing. Great to see you.
Yes, just maybe in just few seconds or minutes, we just want to get a profile of who you are. Who are we talking to this afternoon? This is the time where you market yourself, who you are, what you've done, if you're married, whatever. Just tell us. We want the people on YouTube, on Facebook, even the people that are listening to us on United Voice Radio to know the person behind the voice.
Okay, in brief, my name's Patrick Nyalazi. Born from a family of 11. Yeah, wow. I'm married. Been married for this. We'll be clocking 15 years this year.
Wow.
And we have 4 kids, a girl and 3 boys. Yeah. So, what do I do? What else? I'm an artist manager. I'm an inspiration writer. Logistician in terms of work and business. And yeah, that's a little briefly about me.
Beautiful. You said you've been married for how many years?
For clocking 15 in September.
Wow. Ichupo chali loa.
Amen.
Chali loele.
Now,
Our marriage is sweet. Marriage is so sweet. Yes. I know a lot of people, some they've got negative connotations about marriage, but marriage in a nutshell, because God, whatever God creates is beautiful. God ordained it, He created it, and when He created it, He said, this is it's good. Beautiful. So if the players are not playing it correctly, that doesn't mean that marriage is bad. Marriage is sweet. So tell your neighbor, tell your friend, marriage is sweet, sweetest. All right, Mr. Patrick Nyalazi. Yes. There could be someone. Today we are just looking at you and your family, your life, where you're coming from, where you are, and how people can be impacted by your life, you and your family. So today we're just focusing on you.
Okay.
So before we dig deep into your life, where you're coming from and where you are, someone who's listening there, they could be asking, why should they stay? Why should they listen to this program? What is the significance of us learning from your experience?
Okay, I think first of all, it's very key to, there's different ways in which we learn in life, okay? There's first-hand knowledge where you yourself has to go through experience in order for you to learn it. And then there's another way where you learn from those that have already gone through a certain experience or a certain, to avoid making the same mistake. So I think this program is critical in that it addresses all issues. So many great people have come through here to talk about how the marriages have been a blessing to them, the challenges they've faced, how they've overcome those challenges. And so for somebody who is listening, who is aspiring or to get married or who is already married, they could avoid some of the mistakes that some of us have made,
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
So it's a learning platform. Basically, it's a ministry platform.
Beautiful. So we could have couples, maybe they just got married and to them everything is okay. They've never experienced hard times and stuff like that. So this program will be critical to understand. Sometimes it's very much important to learn from the future. The people that are ahead of you will be able to give you a glimpse in an event that they face the same situation. You'll be able to handle it better.
True.
So Mr. Patrick is opening the Pandora box for you and me to learn so that we might be better. Certain lessons that he learned, it will help us to make correct decisions now. So he's coming here as a counselor to help, to make sure that his life is a testimony to many of you. He's praying to God that his testimony will be able to impact a lot of marriages, a lot of families out there. Mr. Patrick, now we are on you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this was it yesterday when Reverend Simkonda on his page he posted that it's about 36,900 something couples filed for divorce last year. 36,900. 2022 it was about 22,000. Now it jumped to 36. So he was questioning what is wrong with the curriculum? Is it that maybe the syllabus that being used by counselors is outdated? So, it's a question where someone is concerned. They don't really know what is happening. Why is it that all those our parents who are married a long time ago, their marriages are still strong up to now, but us in this era, things are just happening and we're just falling out or moving out, jumping out of marriage as quick as that. What is your thought on that numbers and the things that has happened?
Yeah, I think it's really concerning because if you look at just your marriage, or if I look at my marriage alone, if God forbid I and my wife were to part ways, to divorce, you would imagine how many people would be affected. Okay, not just me and her, not just our children, but so many people will be affected by our separation. So when you hear of numbers like that, 6,000, imagine how many millions of lives are affected. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things we should know that I'd like to encourage someone out there is, like I'm speaking from the fact that I've been married for 15 years, that should indicate something who's in marriage for a year or for a few months or for whatever. Most of the times I think we hear one of the mistakes that we make in trying to to help other people or to give them advice is based on, I'm telling you this because I've been married for 15 years.
Yes.
It's quality.
I love it.
A marriage, somebody got married some 3 months ago and the quality marriage. Somebody may have been married for 50 years or 30 years, but one of them is not happy at all. And it ends, for example, in disaster. The other one shoots the other, or all those kind of stories that we get. So it's about valuing each and every day. And once we value every day in terms of valuing our partners every day, then that actually adds up to the longevity of the marriage.
Wow.
So it's about taking each day at a time and making it your way to say every day, what deliberate things can I do to make my wife happy? What things can I do to make my husband happy?
Wow.
Everything, what we do every day adds up to what we actually achieve daily.
Wow.
adds up to what to achieve.
That's deep. That's deep.
Weekly adds up to what to achieve monthly, yearly in a lifetime. So the moment we let ourselves down on a daily basis, if I'm not there for my children today, then it translates to the entire lifetime. Yes. Yeah. So once we have that approach, say, okay, let's take our marriages like it's today. It's today. I have to make my wife happy. Today I have to make my husband
Live
happy.
life today.
Then
Nice.
that we won't be having these issues and giving up too fast. People are giving up too fast. Just over a simple issue. No, I'm going.
13.
I'm going to my mother. No, go to your mother. No, you know all those things.
And you know, some of the things that were coming up as these numbers of people are fighting for divorce, some they're saying no, in terms of money issues, cars, so poverty, others is this being promiscuous, cheating and stuff like that. So these are the issues that are coming up. Now, when I looked at the hardships, poverty, and money, then I was singling out now to your life. I want to learn now from something from you.
Yes.
I've heard that this man you are seeing there was very rich.
Okay.
So today I want to get the concept. That man you are seeing there was very rich. You know, people were flying. The artists were being, kept like babies. They enjoyed and stuff like that. And, he took care of a lot of people in the industry, in the world. So I want to get a gist of your life there.
Okay. Well,
tell us where you're coming from.
Richness, I think, is subjective, obviously. We all rich in different ways and all. But obviously, I wouldn't deny the fact that, yes, God has been good to us. God has blessed us. And we've gone through different experiences. And one of the experiences I'd like to obviously share is, we're doing so fine. I think as a young man, started my...
How old were you?
That's one of my weaknesses in terms of ages and years and reference.
When that time, when things were very, very well, at what age was that?
I think...
Or how many years were you married?
Maybe I would say 2009, 2010 to 12, I think somewhere there. So I was doing okay. Initially, I was working for a bank.
Okay.
So worked for a bank for about 3.5 years. Something happened. I was actually accused, and I think that's one of the issues. Maybe before I even answer your other question, So what I want to say is every marriage will face different challenges at different times. So one of the things I faced was when I was working for the bank, I was picked. You store some money. When I was just a teller then and rose to the role of supervisor. And went in the sales for about I think 2 nights. Spent 2 nights, and it was such a difficult time for me really to come to terms with reality where you accuse something that you've not done. And but with a supportive partner, I was able to go through that phase. And so from there, I think a few months later, because I was still officially a staff member of the bank, but not getting paid. But then there was a very good Chinese man that took me on, and it was such a blessing. And I think that's where maybe whatever you're referring to as rich could have started from, where someone buys you a car. And Chinese are known to be stingy, for lack of a better word, stingy people and all, but I think it was in another world, and it was a big blessing to us. Quit the bank. Charges were dropped at some point after a year or so, if not 2. So joined that man, started working there. He was into construction. I think things were very, very okay with me and my wife and the family. And that's how I think even the capacity to perhaps help If somebody is blessing you somewhere, or God is blessing you, obviously you need to be a blessing. So my young brother was into music, or is into music, Victor, being the producer, and so the studio was segmented into one producer, one promoter, as well as artist manager, and I was doing the role of artist management there, with obviously the support of our elder brother Ovin. And so things were fine, very fine, I think, until...
So let's be there. Things were very fine.
Very fine.
Everyone was happy.
Everyone was happy.
Yes. How was your family there? It was enjoying everything. Getting used. Life has got levels.
Yes.
When you are doing well, you're at this level. Everyone gets accustomed to that level. Even the way of life, the way of eating, the way of hanging out. Even the people that associate with you, they associate with you at that level.
Yes.
So today's topic is passing through hard times together as a couple. So now this is where we want to single in you.
Okay.
You are there. Before now we start coming what was happening.
Yes.
So we want you to marry it with now you and your family.
Yes.
How was it coming from there to where it was, and how did it happen? How did you manage to pull through? Because for other couples, we could have heard that they are already divorced. But you are still together. We want to know what has made you to be stronger and to reach where you are, even after passing through that hard times.
Hard times.
Yes.
Yeah, so going back to the same story, we had a business. We were running a school. I think it was doing very fine, from 1 to 7. But at some point, things went south. Where I was working, I think I worked for almost 2 or 3 years without a salary, and I couldn't leave that man because of how good he was, so we're just surviving on allowances here and there. And but meanwhile, also there were different dynamics that kicked in at the school, mismanagement of our own, because obviously I think one thing that we need to learn in life is not to always blame other people for our failures, our failings. It's easy for me to say no because of
if only he did this, only she did this.
But I think we played a big role in our own downfall. I think as a young man, sometimes you get so excited when you have monies and dough without properly planning things and thinking, it will just be heaven on earth throughout, So things went south. And we started struggling. Initially, I think we had about almost 20 employees or so.
20?
Yeah.
That was big, huge.
Drivers, teachers, maids, and all that kind of stuff. Started struggling now paying salaries, Started struggling paying rentals because the property was not ours. So it was such a very, very difficult time for us, to an extent that we thought, I think we just have to close the school now for us to preserve the little name that has remained, instead of it going down the drain, obviously, And but before we closed down the school, I think my wife and I had a certain issue at a certain point, where she had a medical issue. She had a problem with stomach in terms of digesting food, So she would sometimes go even a week plus without going to the toilet and all that kind of stuff. So now, wanting to find the solution for that, we tried. I don't know if there's a hospital that we never visited in Lusaka, because we had the capacity, to go, CFB and all that kind of stuff. Until one time she was operated on one of the hospitals, removed of the gallbladder, but then still things didn't change. So one point, I think we came across an article on the internet that a little bit of alcohol could do. And it did some magic. Initially, she started taking a dose of some alcohol, and then she wouldn't have that stomach bulging. But then from from a little, it started increasing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A little dose.
Yes, from a little dose that
Double.
Yes, double, triple, and the like.
Uh-huh.
And then also, not only that, from this brand of alcohol
to another brand.
Because at some point these brands would resist. I mean, would not work.
Would not work. Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, our system started getting used to it, and there'll be that resistance, it not working. Trust me, she. Again, I don't know how many or which brand she never took. And it went now to the level where she and her young brother, would sometimes go out to a bar, and drink. She would call me, maybe I'm at work, she would call me, today when you knock off, find me this side, or the kids home or anything like that. So sometimes I'll go home straight, sometimes I'll meet her up, but because I wasn't drinking and all. It was something else. Really that tore us apart. I think it's something that really, really, really almost broke our marriage, because I think alcohol, she took it to another level. And I really blamed her for it. And I think there was a time we even went on almost like I chased her from home for almost 2 weeks separation. And had already, even when you have family members, some family members saying, I think just leave, and your friends even just leave her, and you can get
some of it
somebody else, like we get all those kinds of suggestions and encouragements, so to say, what, you can't go on like this. But what I didn't realize is I had a hand in that. I had a hand in her escalating to those levels, because
I would love to point that shot that you just mentioned now. This is a lot of us, this is what we miss out when things are happening. For example, if maybe in a marriage, we are quickly to point at someone, not realizing that in that relationship we are the two of us. Exactly. For example, us who are head of the house, the way we are called the head of the house, if anything is happening in our house, we are totally to blame, because we are the leaders of that house. So if things are not happening according to what was supposed to happen, look at the head first. Now, as we are the ones who are quickly to point, just like the way I've said, quickly to point, no, this is the problem, this is the problem. Then as we are moving out ourselves outside the picture, as a result, you are putting the blame on someone else, which does not solve the issue.
And you know that even when it comes to trying to find the solution for, I'll give you the example. When we had gone on separation, and when the elders, Bashukombe, were trying to bring us down to talk about the issue, why there was such a scenario, very, very, very often, most of the times we tend to exaggerate the mistakes of the other person in order for us to appear, you're an angel. To appear angel to others. Yes. So, no, she drinks.
We focus on
that kind of stuff, and paint so much,
a bad picture.
What we forget is that will backfire at us at some point.
Nice.
Because the lies we would have told about our partner, we will not have an opportunity to tell those people that, but chija chinangu chija nanama, trying to appear, That's why I think, even when I think you've seen this scenario where somebody told you how bad their wife is or their husband is, so bad, but tomorrow you see them together,
and
you're like, but you don't, not knowing that there could have been some exaggeration that you received, because you only heard one side of the story.
Yes.
So it's these things do happen, and that's why as couples we should be very, very careful in knowing how, even when there's that in the midst of pressure, what information to give out about your partner, if at all really you have a misunderstanding and you want a solution to that.
Especially when it comes to family members.
Yes.
Because whatever you say about your partner, your family members shall record.
Yes.
And they will never delete that.
No.
Even after you reconcile.
Yeah.
That's why it's very much important and very much critical to know what about your spouse to your family members.
Yes.
Because if they know every weakness of your partner, that marriage is in trouble.
Yes.
Why? Because to you, whatever you do, you're an angel. Kind they say that blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
To you, you become an angel. But whatever you have said about your partner, they will record. And if anything is wrong, or if anything is happening, say, you see, our son said. So if those things will come back and haunt you. That's why I've loved the point that you've said that in the long run, these things they come back to haunt us. Because that marriage, remember, you're part and parcel of that marriage. If it fails, it's not one person who has made it to fail. No, it's the two of you.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Beautiful. Yeah. So this is Discover Your Missing Link. We are talking with I almost said Pastor Patrick Nyalazi. We're talking to Mr. Patrick Nyalazi. He's sharing his life story, starting from where things were happening, how things were hard, and how they managed to pass through together as a couple. So if you are there, maybe you've got a question you want to contribute, you want to ask something as we are discussing with Mr. Nyalazi, you can call 0978-325332. 0978-325332. You can be able to call, you add your voice to our discussion if you want to ask something, or maybe there's something that you want us to advise you on, or maybe there is something that has caught your attention as we are discussing with this Mr. Nyalazi. You can be able to call and add your voice. 0978-325332. 0978-325332. Discover Your Missing Link. Man of God, Mr. Nyalazi, you know, people are facing hardships right now.
Yeah.
Hard times. You were doing good, and things became really, really hard. How did you manage to pull through? Okay, we've got a caller. Just hold your phone. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Discover Your Missing Link.
Yes, I have a contribution. This is Cynthia from Chilenge.
Cynthia from Chilenge. Yes, what is your contribution?
Yes, though I'm not married now, but I was married.
Okay.
Yes, I have 3 children. I remain with 3 children. So my contribution is what I've seen to this generation. I'll talk on the part of the women, as the women. I discover they have not been humble to their husbands.
Okay.
I think that is a match that have led to divorces. Then we are taking our professionals in marriages. So you look at the profession that you have, so you want to be in that level. Profession should get weight. Yes, as a wife, take responsibility. And I got the point from the man of God, what he said, that in marriage, every day, do something that will make your husband happy. Then as a man, again, do something that will make your wife happy.
Yeah.
And I've not been seeing that in this generation. If you feel I'm not seeing that. So I think those are the things that are really leading to divorces. Because men, they always want to be treated like a king. And men, if they are wrong, majority of them, they won't even apologize and they won't show that they are wrong. They will just keep that issue like that.
I'm the head.
So when you're getting into marriage, at least know what men do and the way they want to be treated. Yes. So if you maintain those things, I think you can understand each other.
Beautiful.
This is a very good program. I'm following it.
Thank you, Sister Cynthia. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. That was Cynthia adding her voice on United Voice Radio. All right.
Yeah, so,
Nyalazi.
yeah, she's spot on. Humility, I think pride is what is taking us down and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So coming to your question, or how we put through.
Or before we go to the pull through, maybe let's combine with the decisions or the lessons that you learned from that experience?
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the lessons is as a man and as a husband, as much as we have these responsibilities, we have these financial pressures and all, it should not get to a point where you're too busy for your family.
Wow.
There was a time I was too busy for my family. I was too busy for my wife.
Even, you know, that point needs to be echoed.
Even the drinking, in some way, in one way or the other, it was some form of a cry out from her. You know, where you always...
It was a reaction.
You have everything you need in the home, but you still, just because you know you want to make more money, you're always on the road. Yes, busy managing artists and all that kind of stuff, but you're not there for your family. And even pastors, I mean, this is, I also like to say this.
Okay. So as you are, there's a message that has come. I think they want us also to be mixing with vernacular.
Oh, okay.
Good afternoon, everybody in the studio. Mr. Mlenga from Chipata. Please, come no tuma local languages because they won't say our program our sambirira. Some of us we are not educated. My question is bushe nifinshi ififwai kwa pakuti mwingire muchupo cause abantu abalala ati awe tekuti ngupe pali nomba cause shilaba settled batinishi balabomba nokuyisunga fye bwino nomba finshi ifilefwai kwa pakuti imbe settled. All right, so that is a cry from one of our listeners that please, this program is very educative, and as we are glued, we are following the program. So that so as you continue your point, mix also English and Bemba Nyanja, whatever comes through.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, what was I saying? I've gotten lost. Sorry. Yeah. So, I think the critical thing in life is when it comes to a marriage relationship, you know each other. I think. Let me just first, before I get back to my point, go back to just the question. How do you know? How can you get into a marriage?
How can you get into a marriage, chupo? Because others they say you are ready. They first you have to get settled, but you are still working.
I think, Chame, the biggest problem right now.
But your point that you were talking about was having time for your family.
Oh yeah.
So once you've done that, you go to that.
Okay, so I go to having time is very important. I think yes. For example, if you're a pastor, you have time for the congregation, you have time for everybody else, but have time also for your family, have time for your wife. And I think that's one of the things that really got me into trouble. I had no time. Right now, I still get stories of my 14-year-old girl who tells me certain things I can't recall, in her childhood. Even the mother will narrate me a story of how this and that happened. I'm like, oh, this happened. Why? Because I was not there. You know, I was too busy.
You're too busy for the family.
Too busy trying to make money and thinking, oh, you've built an empire now and you're now succeeding. But on the other side, they're not happy. And, you know, sometimes we can't realize really that they are not happy. You think everything is fine.
They are eating. Life is everything is okay.
Things will burst up and you see those signs. So
time
be there for your family.
Be there for your family.
Sometimes I switch off your phone. Switch off your phone and say, you know what? This is quality time. This is family time. Let me just have time with my family.
But I want to know nowadays when the economy is biting, you can't have time, sitting around and, even this woman, she needs money. But if
the thing is, we don't necessarily have, yes, we have to work hard, but I think most and working smart, you strategize on how how well you can balance up things. There's no better formula really.
Not to go bomba very smart. We're making sure that my
of course, we are aware that sometimes women are short-sighted. Okay, just because maybe you have everything today, they'll say, okay, be home the whole day or anything. But when you need maybe to make an errand and all that kind of stuff. But let's be strategic. If there's some errands, go with her. Let her know what you're doing. And even when it comes to business, that's why most businesses are failing when the husband or wife dies, because we don't expose our children, we don't expose our spouses to these things. You just bring money and you don't care how you made that money, or to tell your wife or your partner how, And then when you die, if you're running a school, for example, you find that the wife can't manage to run the school, or the husband can't manage to run the school because they didn't have a clue. Why? Because you didn't have time for each other. So it comes back to the issue of time.
So time is one of the lessons that you learned. We didn't have time. So even when we got involved in that alcohol issue, it was just a form of like maybe retaliation, because this person does not have much time with me. So maybe if I spend it doing these things, maybe I'll feel happy and gratified. But you came to that realization, and right now you are helping others understand that having time for your family and a family is very much important.
And by the way, she's been sober for, I don't know, for how long, so many years now, because God just took over and He healed her, and she's no longer facing. She does face once in a while that issue, but it's not as bad as it used to be then. So so God is faithful. No matter how difficult or whatever problem, whatever challenge you're facing as a couple, He'll come through for you.
So before we go to how you came out of how you handled that hardship, is there any other lesson apart from time that you can love to share?
I think I've also made bad decisions when it comes to finance.
So before you go that side, listen as if you're listening, you want to contribute, you want to say something, you want to ask a question. Mr. Nyalazi is here. You can call us on 0978-325332, 0978-325332. You can be able to write us a message or call us and then add your voice, your contribution, and then we'll be able to appreciate. Yes, Mr. Nyalazi,
decisions. But before I come to that point, so in brief, or just to cut certain aspects of our story, so we closed the school, then thank God, got a job, started struggling, but again came up. And when things were now going fine, unfortunately, in December, I was told, you know what, we're not going to renew your contract. So you're going to, have to step aside, and we want to bring somebody in to pay them a lower salary, all that kind of stuff, and this COVID coming, all that kind of stuff.
So you're saying that you are there, doing well, something happened, hardship, you came, you struggled, and then you started rising again.
Yeah, got a job.
And again, something bad happened again.
Something terrible happened. So I lost, I think it was quite a huge blow. I lost that job. And when we lost that job, we still had, it was still like a period of recovery. And we're still paying some of the debts that we had accumulated, school-wise at the school and all that kind of stuff. And so it was terrible. We had to make adjustments. We had to, I think there was a time we were even kept by my young brother for a month or so.
So
we my whole family had to come. Due to time, I can't.
Just what you have said. I just want now just to say it in a local language. You're saying that with this hardship, Marisa have very much heat that you are even. Your brother started keeping
me for a month in transition to other things.
Okay.
So it was terrible. Kids not going to school. I think for almost 2 years.
How many are going for 2 years?
But thank God, because of the fact that my wife was a teacher, or is a teacher. She did some course at University of Zambia, even if she didn't complete because of that same problem when she got ill and all. And because of the experience we had in running the school from baby class to grade 7, 8, 9, she was able to take our kids homeschooling. And we had to adjust homeschooling. Obviously, it was something else, from running a school, owning a fleet of cars, managing employees.
How many vehicles did you have?
I think about 5 only. 5 or so. I think 2 or 3 buses and the like. Yeah. Wow. So to losing everything, losing everything. And so got a job, again, things started rising up, but then lost that job, went south. I think for a month, I was with my young brother. From there, I think we went to Chongwe. Our elder sister looked for a house for us. And it was refreshing to be in Chongwe. I think it gave us, you reflect. When you're too much in the city, sometimes you tend to not see certain things and have these false things that you think, you're doing fine and all that. But I think it was a time to reflect. But I would like also to say that it's very important to adjust when things go south. Adjust.
Wow.
So we're staying in this small house.
Hit the hardest. It's very important for you as a couple to adjust. Because what kills a lot of couples right now, that point is very paramount. What makes a lot of people even to cry, to feel like maybe God has forsaken them, is that they don't realize that, for example, if you were there and things have hit hard, now things are not okay. You discuss with the family, this is where we are right now. We are unable to do 1, 2, 3 things because this is the situation now. Now, for us to go to the next level, we need to adjust in certain areas. To feel to adjust. Ngatoaleria 5 times a day. DSTV ngatoalesha ya idiati fubuke. Sentuwele ko twiste ko kuli idia 140. Nangukuleka ngwamba chabe magula whatever is, if it stops whatever it is, which is cheaper to manage at that particular time. Now adjusting yapo abantu bashupira sana because kuna babambi bali kalafe parapere parevu. Barambona shani baneba.
Chamene chimatipa ni my expectations in trying to still keep up the face. Because for me, I mean, I used to face these challenges sometimes where, a taxi driver, for example, boss, taxi kairi, it's like a walkable distance. Taxi boss, sumufu kwenda pansi, mwezo enda tezo mona ni motoka, bossi mwana mawano, kwenda pansi. And so many interactions I had, people would say this, would say that, and you're like, okay, if you're not careful, you end up living a borrowed life. You end up not adjusting, trying to, to meet their expectations. Oh, this man was doing fine. What? So you still want people to say they are doing fine. You don't want to accept that actually.
I'm still there. But the people are even trying to show they are not even some. They are not even
concerned. Buy bread for you, so so why not walk? If it means walk, save 15 kwacha for bread or anything like that. And that's so even when you hear people killing themselves over debt of 5,000 or 10,000 or 90,000, I've had debt as much as 100,000 plus worth of debt. Okay, and this debt, say, okay, God will bless you enough to actually start repaying, and thank God we gradually repaying. Some of those debt that we had accumulated way back. So God is faithful. God is faithful. Yeah. So just hang in there as a couple and together you.
Beautiful. I'm learning a lot of things. One of the things that I've learned is that it's very important as a couple, as a husband, as a wife, to make sure that each and every day you discover better ways or good ways on how to make your wife or husband happy. That is one of the roots to make sure that it cements your relationship. Every day, treat every day as a special day. Don't wait for another day. No, whatever you have, whatever little it is, do it in that way. Make sure that your spouse is what? Is happy. So if you are there, you want to contribute on this program, call us on 0978 325332. 0978 325332.
And the other thing I wanted to share is ngati banja, okay, you are going through stuff. I think it's very, very important to stick together, even with your kids. One of the things in terms of all these problems we had. I mean, our kids were used to a good life.
Good schools.
Good life and all, everything. But when all these things happened, they had to adjust also. Okay. And we had to make them aware. And I know in families, then out of concern, for example, your brothers, no, tisungeko kapena uyu, tisungeko uyu, kapena, so that the
burden is
burdening lightened, or maybe make aende kuli wachibululu first shani. Well, depending on circumstances, but I wouldn't encourage that.
You need to fight together.
For me, I believe in fighting together.
Fight together.
If today we are going to go without a meal, or we are going to survive on half a meal, let's survive on half a meal. And I'm telling you, we had those episodes, long episodes, where I would survive on one meal a day. And sometimes I would go for work.
One meal
they are waiting for lunch. There's nothing at home. They're waiting for lunch. Whatever to my small business we're doing, they're not really, and you send something for lunch at 14 hours. I mean, irresponsibility, obviously. Responsibility, and the responsibility lied with me as a leader.
As the head of the house.
Yeah. So it was terrible. So we had to adjust. Going to a small, one-bedroom house. You sleep there. The kids are on the other, where it's also used as a sitting room, and that kind of stuff. And but God is faithful. I've seen the hand of God.
This couple is amazing. What Mr. Nyalazi is saying that hard times might come in life. They come. But what is important is to trust God, because God is always faithful. Your situation is not permanent.
And people will laugh at you.
People will laugh at you. Family members, they will say, but you know that God is always what? Faithful. Stay in there. I love the point that you have said, that even if I'm going to it's better twarena bakashibandi pamkumu, because twambire babiri no kulwa again tulwe ekikyayise ekikibulu babiri, because at the end of the day when you pass through that phase mwarasambira pamo, passing through hard times together as a couple. I want to hear the part of your wife. How did your wife handle all this coming down to the level? Because sometimes women, it's very difficult to adjust. You know what I'm talking about?
They run away from
There's a message here. I'm truly blessed with the man's experience. Very few can do that. Seeing your mistakes is the way to go. Trust. From Kamwara South. We are learning. So we've got someone who's saying that your experience is massive. They are learning something from it. It's not really easy. Not really easy. Yes, man of God. I want to get that gist from your wife's side of things. And also, as you talk about your wife, I want you to just echo in. Last week when we are closing, we received a message from a woman. She said that she's having issues or difficulties with her husband, who's a truck driver. The husband is like, the cheating has gone to another level. It's cheating after cheating. She has tried to talk to the husband, and the husband is not changing. And the relationship is deteriorating. And she wrote this message when we were just closing. So I said maybe next week when we can be able to touch here and there and there. So as you talk about your wife, I was just also by the end also touch on this story on how this relationship can be salvaged.
I think one of the things about cheating, a cheating partner, that I would say is, no matter how much you talk to them, no matter how much you talk, direct talk to them, the possibility of them changing.
Okay. So on the possibility, just what you thought. Hello, good afternoon. Bueno Bwanji. Mr. Patrick.
Bwanji. Amen.
Muna ngao
so pamene munachita ni chinthu chikulu mulungu mwamene alili mwamuona pamene achita pano titamba tembelana koma kwambiri musikilize tamsana na wamayi kufikira pamoja munyumba chinthu chachitavuta kalani pansi msamisane osabe mwaja kunja uko bantu nawo niwoononga nakuyanikisa kwambiri koma kwambiri
Zikomo. All right. Yes, man of God.
Yeah, cheating. The critical aspect of cheating. First of all, I don't know how that thing.
All right. Just what I thought again. Hello. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Quick
I'm
one.
Isaac from Tawam.
Mr. Isaac, under 1 minute, you can give us your contribution.
Yeah. Na dotela sana kuli awaba umya.
Mkoi.
Awaba umya wale sawa pale sana.
Mwaume waka kama mwana meshu. Mwaume.
Imewa kalamba imwele sawi pale mwa sabiche singi sana. Mwa umemule fai kwa muzambe na mchalo choki.
Mkoi.
Ifyo mwapita mo sandirisha sana chini. Awe shula vipale na ino program yenu na wa modeta twalide twatote.
Twata shamkoi.
Thank you. Yeah. Glory to God.
All right.
Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to talk about cheating from this aspect. You know, if one needs to be very careful in marriage when it comes to issues of affairs and all that, first of all, how you can be careful is from the start. It starts, for some, it starts with just a single text. A simple thing. So as a man, as a woman, every time you're writing a message to a friend of the opposite sex, wherever it is, ask yourself a question. Is this going to light up a fire? Will I be able to put it off, to put this fire off? Because it could start in a fun way initially, but its end is disastrous. You know? So that's why now you find people get to those points where now, like the lady is complaining the husband is cheating every after. It probably and you know, obviously in transportation, I'm in transportation. Drivers obviously face a lot of all those things. But what I can say is, you cannot take somebody out of cheating just by talking to them, no matter how many rules you've put on them. Okay. Probably you say, no, by 20 hours you should be home, or I should be checking your phone, you should give me your password, then they'll stop cheating. That's not the way to go.
Yeah.
You can do all those things, but they'll still find a way.
Yes.
The most important thing is to anchor yourselves into prayer, to anchor yourselves to, when you know, to say, once I do this, I'm going against the commandment of God. I'm sinning before God. Then you know yourself that you are responsible.
Actually, cheating, it starts with yourself.
Yes.
When you cheat against your own flesh.
Yes.
Because it's you who was making that commitment.
Exactly.
You are making that commitment before God, that you're going to be faithful. You are going to treat this relationship with utmost care and making sure that treat it as holy as it is, as holy of holies.
Yes.
But if you break those boundaries, everything that we do has got consequences. Sometimes for 3 minutes, ndine mwamuna sasa kanigwira nonigwira, but whatever you do has got what? Consequences. Sometimes those consequences might not come from your spouse, but just achoka, because God sees each and everything. So no matter how hidden it is, they come at time that it can be. Yeah. So
if you are cheating for some reason, you perhaps you have you call yourself maybe you say there are justifiable reasons or anything. I'm telling you, there's no justifiable reason for cheating. Okay,
so no matter how does this woman now, because the issue is that the problem is not listening to this program. The one who's listening to this program is the one who's having an issue with this husband who's cheating. How does she approach this issue?
Take it all in prayer. That's the only place. Prayer reaches boundaries or reaches places where you cannot physically go. That's the only thing.
Actually, do the possible, leave the impossible to God.
To God. Nice. Because no matter how much, he's on the road. He's a driver. He's in Kabwe. He's in wherever. You can't monitor his moves. So the only thing is for you to say, God, you gave me this man. You gave me this man. And true change, when it comes to even cheaters, people that have cheated, the true change only comes when they really encounter the grace of God. Not when they were caught. At no, Naleka, even when your partner says Naleka because you've caught me, it has to be an encounter with God. Once that encounter, it seals everything. It kills off. The Holy Spirit will kill off all those, those lastings, those feelings of wanting to go for another woman or anything. You start looking at everybody as your sister, as your brother, and say, okay, this I can do. This you even be able to know, even when somebody of the opposite sex sends you a message, you'll be able to know there's something wrong with this message. Something wrong.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. No, thank you so much, man of God. We have learned a lot today. There's a message. Hi, nice topic. How can I start over? I'm jobless, a single mother, and I have a lot of Congole right now. I've been drinking sweet Ed for a week. No food. I'm came from Chawamba.
Okay. I don't know whether that will answer that question. Sorry.
So this is a quick one. Then we're going to give.
I wanted to say something like on I think there was a time. There was a time I was in trying to make things come back to that. Wango chako naka betting, bola betting, shan what. Whoever is listening, I'm telling you, keep away from betting. Keep away from betting, whether it's football or anything. It starts small, but there's a certain level it gets to. It's evil.
Irreversible.
Where and you start even accumulating, and even Kalova. Please, Kalova is a bad. There was a time, you're doing business and you want to. I think we were hit hard by COVID when we started. Because we had started the school again. Unfortunately, it was a time when COVID came. Where schools are closed, but you're still paying rentals, all that. So you borrow money in order to, hoping you cross to the other side. But then those Congoles now, yakula foot. Yeah. So I would like to discourage somebody out there, no matter how, just trust God, no matter how difficult it is. When it comes to Kalova, please. It destroys marriages. Yeah. 90% of the decisions we've made in our home, good decisions.
So how does she start again? This one who's saying that Congole is a jobless. So
okay, Congole, she can always. I know people are difficult, but you can always sit down. Sit down and say, you know what? Give me time to pay.
Talk to them.
Give time to pay, and that's one of the things we did. We had huge Ngongoles, and we sat down. I know it was so hard, but we had to tell them, say, no, what can you do? Come, if you want to get everything, get everything from
I like home. That. All right. The last caller for today, then we close.
And pray not for Ngongole to be cancelled as a believer, but to pay back. For God to give you resources to pay back.
Hello, good afternoon. You are the last caller this afternoon. Less than 1 minute, Agnes.
I'm quite. I cannot talk about a man of God. Vanono sana pano pacharo pano panosvika yakanono nisichakula nomba vena avo vaume vesale vapala
Thank you so much. Last remarks, man of God, we close now.
Well,
what are your last words?
Marriage is beautiful. Don't base it on the number of years you've been together, based on the quality of time you spend together each and every day. And the biggest source of the solutions regarding the problems, the challenges you're having, is within yourselves, with God at the center of it all. And your family, thank God, like for us, we had very, very supportive family. And I think they came through for us in so many ways. So, you lose friends along the way because of, sticking to your partner, but it's for the better, and God just blesses you massively.
Beautiful.
God is faithful.
God is faithful. You have heard. So if you're there, you're passing through issues, make sure that you apply the principle that a man of God has shared with us. It is possible. It is easy. We're able to do it. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in on Tuesday, 21 hours for the repeat. But catch us next week on Saturday, the same time. It has been your Father Godwin Nyirongo. So much excited. My producer Maggie, and we've got a director on the cameras, Pastor Martin. Thank you so much. Mr. Nyalazi, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks,
we are very much humbled. We bless God for you.
Thank my wife for allowing me to be here.
The sugar baby.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you next week. Wow.